Today I have Vernetta Rolon here, impromptu visit on Aesthetically Speaking. Vernetta and I used to share office spaces together years ago. And Vernetta, give me a little bit about your business and especially about your credit repair, because that's very important when it comes to owning a home.
Okay. So my business is, well, first, thanks for having me on. And
thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
My business is Happy Credit, and Happy Credit is a credit restoration and education repair company, credit repair company. And the main focus is helping people to understand about credit and helping them to raise their scores. But you have to be educated around credit in order to understand how your scores rise.
And that's so important. It really is.
Yeah. We also have a program that will allow for an extra arm of my business to do your credit for you. And only thing you have to do is to, when letters get sent to you, you send them out to the bureau, and then they come back and you send them back to your credit counselor, and they handle it from there. I try to provide people with options in terms of their credit. I also do a lot of training around credit, just to kind of get people to understand how credit works. Because if you understand how it works, then you understand what it means to have better credit, and you will make sure that you sustain the credit that you have and also continue to raise your scores to make it better.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And just a note, a lot of people worry about credit just to get a home, but I would think even to maintain upgrades in your home, you would want to keep your credit in good standing so that you can borrow money to make the necessary repairs or renovation.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's so important. It's so important.
Especially like now with COVID, so many people I've talked to, like, they have money sitting in their house and they can't get it because their credit is not where it needs to be to get it refinanced.
Wow. And and one thing we all know is home ownership provides equity. And if you can't even get that out of your home because of your credit, that's so hard, especially when you have necessary repairs, maintenance that needs to be taken care of, and you need to access that money and you need to get it soon. You know, you might end up spending more money because you don't have good credit.
Absolutely. It's like having money in the bank you can't touch.
Yep. And that, you know, wouldn't we all hate that?
Yeah. So, you know, that's what I've come across a lot in terms of trying to help people, and people are a little bit more concerned now because they're not able to pay bills, or they're not working, and things are getting behind. And then there's people who've had good credit and their credit is suffering because of the current climate of situation as it is.
And, and mortgages people are unable to pay their mortgage. I mean, if you had better credit and you needed to pull money out of the equity of your house just to do that would be helpful as well.
Right. So those are kind of challenges that I'm finding with a lot of people that I'm talking to. I think, you know, even if you do come through some storms like we are currently going through, you know, even if you can pay the minimum of $25 on something, you know, pay something, even if you can't pay the whole thing off. People tend to think that when you get credit, that it's about the amount of money that you're spending, and really it's the opposite. It's the amount of money that you're not spending that you can sustain without going over 30% utilization on your credit card.
That's a good point. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah. So, you know, people's like, oh, I got credit cards, but it's good to have the credit because it's there. I call it invisible money. So even if the cash structure shut down, you still have money that you can get a hold to because it's credit.
Yeah, you can still do something. I mean, especially now when cash is becoming more and more of a cashless society.
Right.
And, you know, you go, I can't remember the last time I think I have a dollar bill in a bag somewhere. And I've been using cards everywhere because, you know, everything is plastic nowadays. Or online.
It is. And the funny thing is, a few weeks ago, I had to pull money out of the bank account, out of a Mac machine. It took me literally, good thing nobody was behind me, like 2 minutes to figure it out, because I don't know when the last time I had cash in my hand, because I don't carry cash.
Me either.
You
Either.
know?
I do not carry it anymore.
I don't go to the Mac machine. I handle everything through the card, either bank of my Mac card or, the debit card or, a credit card. But credit is really important. I think the more people are educated around it, the more they understand it,
And I thought it was interesting that you said you also provide help with the letters, because I've heard people over the years say that they, there's books about repairing your credit or fixing your credit, but some people don't really understand the concept of writing the letters so that they can get it out to the right people.
Right.
And it's really good that you actually have that service where you're providing the letters as well as just, giving the information. Because that helps some people along.
I actually wrote 2 extensive workbooks. One is called the Credit Success Plan, and the other one is the Happy Credit Playbook. And the Credit Success, they're both like 52 pages, 53 pages each. And the plans work together. And the Success Plan gives you step-by-step instructions, and helps you understand credit from the beginning to the end of credit, starting on how to get credit, what it is, understanding like certain terms around credit and things like that people kind of just jump over. I explained everything in that book. And the playbook gives you a step-by-step process on how to fix your credit, starting with the letters, starting with who you send it to, what letters you send to people, how to talk to the creditors, what happens if you get rejected, what to do, not to send everything all at one time. I mean, it goes step by step into the end. And with my clients who come on board with me, I hold their hand and I'm with them. I actually coach them through the process of what they need to be doing and how they need to get it done.
And I remember you said you're a certified coach, right?
Yes, I am. I'm a certified therapeutic art life coach is what I do.
Okay, so, but I mean, that's helpful with somebody that needs coaching through credit as well.
All of that goes into therapy, art, life coaching is just an aspect of my coaching business as well. So, but, those are the challenges, some of the challenges that I deal with people. And when you mention life coaching, it all goes hand in hand, because people struggle through certain situations, and specifically around finances and themselves, and they tend to sometimes think that they're not worthy, and they can't have anything. And when I'm talking to people, I tend to tell them specifically around my credit story, is that I didn't always have the best of credit. My credit was really, really bad, and it just happened from life things happening. And it all started back in 1996 when my sister passed away. And we took our entire life savings. My husband and I had just bought a brand new house. And 6 months later, my sister died. And we took everything that we had to bury her, because she was terminally ill. Yeah, so she had no insurance. So back then it cost $6,000 to bury somebody. And in 1996, $6,000 was a lot of money.
It was. You're right. It's so probably 3 times what it is now.
Yeah. So, we went into some financial issues with that. We buried her beautifully. But then on the back end, we suffered because we didn't have any money, and we were struggling with our mortgage and paying that. And, fast forward a few years, ended up losing my house to bankruptcy.
Wow.
Even though I tried to save it 3 times. But it caused some turmoil on the credit. And we were getting ready to build another house, to build a home. And we found out we had a $78,000 judgment against us on the credit. So I said, well, I'll never be able to build a house. And this is not the one in Florida. This was with my first husband.
Oh, okay.
I said, we won't be able to build this house, because how are we going to get $78,000 cash? So I said, there has to be something that I can do about this. I did my homework and was able to get that civil judgment off of my credit report through letters and talking to the right people and being diligent about it. And people need to understand that if you send a letter out to a creditor and they don't get back to you within 30 days, it has to come off.
That's good information right there. I mean, I think a lot of people don't even know that. I think what happens is a lot of people get low self-esteem when it comes to credit. Yeah. And that's why that coaching and that go hand in hand, because they don't know what they don't know, and then it makes them feel bad, and then they don't, like you said, you don't know that if you send a letter to somebody and they don't respond within 30 days, that comes off. A lot of people don't know that.
Exactly. So I was able to get that taken off, and then I just started working on some things, and my life started changing around the fact that my credit started to go up. And you know, my husband had passed away, and I was all by myself, and here I have bills and everything that I have to take care of by myself now. And because my credit scores was a little higher, I determined that I would not go back into like that deep debt hole, because I couldn't afford to, because I didn't have anybody else to help me get out of it but me.
Especially since you were on your own, can you imagine the mental and emotional turmoil that would have been? You lost your husband, and then I remember that how that was for you. Oh my, I remember that. So I mean, that plus, you know, dealing with the financial part of it would have really been difficult.
Right. So, you know, long story short, when it comes to, you know, your credit, it's the best thing that you have going next to you, next to like air, because you need both.
You need credit, and you need insurance is important.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned
all of that.
The one thing, I took some financial education classes with my brother last year. One of the things that they said was a GoFundMe is not an insurance.
Exactly.
You know, and nowadays people do that a lot, but you know, insurance is huge. You know, you don't know when. I just lost a close friend of mine today.
I'm sorry.
You know, thank you. I appreciate that. But you just don't know when you go through things. And it's, you know, I'm starting to see friends are dying. So, you know, we're at that age now where we're going to see that happening. And you know, insurance is huge. Insurance and savings plans and all of that stuff, but also fixing your credit. I mean, you know, you don't want to be in a situation where you need to use it and you can't use it, you know.
Right. And
you mentioned about your books. I want to make sure before I want to get your links to your books so that are they still available? I guess that's the first thing I want to ask.
Well, we're kind of doing some updates with that, because they were on the website, but they're not now. Okay. But they will be coming back, because we've kind of been doing some restructuring. But I will, once they're up, I'll be able to send you a link or something that I can send out to, because we did have it on there, but we took it down. But I will be able to send that information out to you. They were in digital format, so I'm trying to get them back to digital format. Okay. Because the platform that we had on the website where people would join the Happy Credit website as a member, and that's the only way you could get access to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was a part of your plan.
Yes.
With as a client, you got the book. That's what I do with my clients. I give them books to go along with them. Yeah. And I like it when you said workbook, because I try to make my books as workbooks as well.
Yeah, that's what they are. It's a workbook. It gives you some you know, ideas and things in there, and tells you what to do, and you actually go through you know, certain real life situations in it. It gives you it gives you letters. There's sample letters, but the actual letters are within the website if you're a member. Yeah.
Okay. And they send it out. You don't send it out for them. They send it out for themselves.
No. They send it out themselves. And they go through the process, because I also, in my thing, is a coaching plan as well with the credit. So if they want me to coach them, they would get the information, and then they say, hey, I got this letter. I don't know what to do with it. Or can you help me? And I give direction on what you need to do with that and how you need to proceed. How you need to proceed with it. The other part of Happy Credit is that if they want someone to do their credit for them, I have a extended partner that does the credit for the client. Because sometimes people just don't want to do it themselves. They're more willing to pay someone else to do it. And when people tell me that, I get it. My house has ceilings that are 18 and 19 feet high. So I'm like, I get it, because I could get on a ladder, but I don't want to. So I'll pay somebody to get on the ladder and paint the wall.
Exactly. I mean, you know, just like I tell people that stuff like that all the time. We're not changing our own oil.
Yeah.
You know, it
Exactly.
might be something that's doable, but I mean, come on.
Right.
That's why they have people that do stuff for you.
Exactly.
And sometimes they have insight into information, like you have insight into information that other people don't have.
Right.
And so it does make sense to be able to do that.
And that program has attorneys. They have, credit attorneys that understand the laws around credit a little bit more than a layperson does. So that gives them just an extra, extra boost. Because if something comes back to them and they're like, hey, I got this letter and they rejected it, now what? Well, if you go through that particular program, the attorney will handle that for you.
Now, is this nationwide or is this for a specific state?
No, it's nationwide.
Oh, okay, that's good. So what I'm going to do is to put your information. I want you to send me your links because once this podcast becomes published, we're going to put your information on the podcast, the links to where they can join, but also in my Renovation Realities web group on Facebook, I'll also include that so that the people can know how to connect with you, because this kind of service is huge. I mean, it's something that, a lot of people they're afraid to approach it. I think that's really coming from my own background. It's something that I finally when I started taking financial education classes and learning and being more aware of what was going on with finances, that's what made me focus more on it. So it's so important, and it's such a huge, it almost makes you feel like you want to have a party once you come over that certain level.
I tell people it's like jumping in the pool. First you dip your toe in, or you walk in a little bit, and then it feels kind of uncomfortable. But once you get your entire body in it, you don't even feel it anymore.
Yep, it just becomes a part of your routine. It's a part of, just like we have our business plan where we do things according to our business. It becomes a part of your personal plan for your life, and it makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
You look at my phone right now, I have Credit Karma on there. I have a couple other things.
And here's what I want to tell people though about those sites. They're not all accurate. Now, Credit Karma, I use Credit Karma.
Okay.
But Credit Karma is a gauge. It's not your actual credit score.
Oh no, I've used more than one, and I've also pulled my reports as well.
Oh yeah.
I did the whole thing. Like I pulled all 3 reports, and then I went on more than one of those sites.
Yeah.
It sounds too good to be true to be on.
Oh yeah. I use Credit Karma. I use I pay for Experian.
Okay.
So, and Experian will give me all 3 of my credit scores through their service. So every month you're keeping updated. That may have been the one I
went on to with all 3. I know I went on to one that had all 3 consolidated. I think it was Experian.
Yeah. So they give you all your up-to-date scores and whatnot. And just, a last little tip is that if anybody's trying to raise their score and their scores are low, my suggestion is that you get a secured credit card, get 3 of them. Get 3 secured, get 3 secured credit cards. You can go to your bank and let your bank know that you want a secure card. And all it means, secure card just mean that you're actually the one putting the money on the card.
Okay.
So if you want a 500, usually they start them off at 200, 2 to 400. You put the money on the card and it's your money. And you pay a fee to get this, except for with the bank.
Okay.
If you go
do it through your own bank account, it's better.
If you go through a third party, you probably have to pay a fee, and they just deduct that fee and you pay it back. But here's the thing: so say you get a $400 credit card, and they're saying $90 is the fee for the card, but it will be applied. It'll be deducted from the $400. Don't pay that entire $90 off when you get your card. Pay it off in $30 increments over the course of 3 months, because you're still under 30% utilization and you're starting to build a credit history.
I think that's what people need to know, because that threshold that you just said, you said that in the beginning as well, that 30%.
Yes.
So is that just a rule across the thumb with all of your debt?
Yeah, staying under 30% utilization keeps you within the safe zone. They know that you have to use your credit cards, but they really give you a card to help you manage your money. Okay. People don't understand that. They think they get a credit card. Oh, I got $500. Go let me spend $399.
Let me use all of it. Yeah, a lot of people do that. They go on a spending spree, buying stuff they really don't even need.
Exactly. I tell people to get these secure cards, and I don't know, put your phone bill on it. Something you pay once a month.
That makes a lot of sense, because you're constantly paying off your phone bill.
Right. Put your phone bill on it. pay it once a month and you don't have to worry about it for another 30 days. And it's an automatic payment coming off. You know that bill's going to come. You got to pay it anyway, right? If you have 3, that gives you a boost because now you have 3 lines of credit. And then once you see your score rising, I would see if I could go and apply for a small item of furniture. You need trade lines. You have to have certain trade lines to help your score rise. You know, so if you have a cell phone bill and you have the credit cards, and say you get, they don't even count utilities on the credit anymore. Utilities.
So your cell phone bill is not considered a utility then?
I think it's part of the installation, like an installment.
Oh. Okay.
Part of installments.
Okay.
So yeah, it would be installments. So you need like the installment loans, you need the different trade lines of like installment, and if you buy furniture, that's installment. If you have a car, you know, you buy a car, you know, that's an installment loan.
Yeah.
I'm not loan, but you know, installment, well, it is a loan, installment payments, but there's different trade lines that you have to help to build your credit. You know, I tell people, I don't care how much money you can have $500,000 in the bank. If your credit is jacked up, they're still not going to give it to you.
That makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people don't
think about that. You know,
I think a lot of people don't think about that.
You can try to buy a house, and if that house is if you have $500,000 in the bank and you want to buy a house and that house costs $200,000, they don't even care. They want to make sure that credit is right, you know, because the credit means more to them.
Your financing for that is going to be higher then.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So I tell people that when you're buying a home, if you're trying to get a house and let's say you buy a house is $50,000. If your credit is not right, you're going to pay, and say rates are, 3%, right? If your credit is really low, they may go ahead and give you a house because you fall within the approval zone, but you may end up paying 9 or 10% for that house, which means if the house is $50,000, by the end of 30 years, you're going to pay $200,000 for a house that you should only be paying maybe $100,000 for, or $70,000 for.
Wow.
You know, and that's the thing people need to understand. You don't want to be wasting money. Don't spend money on things that you don't need. If you don't need 2 cars right now, don't have 2 cars. My husband and I have 1 car. My lease was up in October. I said, well, do I need a car? Do we need to? Nope. Because why? Because now that I work from home, for what? For it to sit out in front of the house all week long?
Being pretty.
Exactly. That's it.
Listen, I have a car. It's paid off. It's 20 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. I think a lot of people don't think about that kind of stuff. They're thinking about, you know, what represents their success.
Yeah.
But hopefully, what I'm thinking is during this time of COVID, people are starting to realize what's important, financially speaking.
Right.
You know, this is a good time to learn more about finances.
Yeah.
And you know what's awesome? My 4 o'clock. I wanted to get you on here for other reasons. I was trying to pull you on my show to talk about your house.
Oh, my house.
I think it's so awesome that I got you on here for credit. But I mean, it was so random, but it's such good content. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that you came on here. But also, I want to know if you would be willing to come back on.
Oh yeah, yeah. What about the house?
Your house you built. Just to talk about. Okay. I'll give you a little bit about what I'm doing. I have a podcast. This is the 3rd season. Every season has been a different topic. The first season we talked about gentrification. The second season, what I did was I took my book that I wrote last year about opening restaurants, and we took every show was a different chapter in the book. So this season I'm doing the same thing, but it's about residential design and renovation.
Okay.
So, you know, it sounds like you've been through it more than once with building a house.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I would love to have you.
We can talk about it.
About that. Just because one of the parts of the book is talking about planning and I mean, especially the part about credit is such a huge part of the planning for financial.
Yeah. And here's the thing, when it comes to credit or anything, people don't get it until they get it. And when I say that, until it hits you and it touches you and you feel that, that's when you actually get to understand it. Because prior to even my first time trying to build a house, I didn't understand I knew that you had to have good credit. I knew that credit just meant, you know, better things for you. But I didn't realize what it meant until I got rejected because I had $78,000 debt.
And you said you didn't even know about that, right? You didn't know that was on.
I didn't know because you have to pull your credit reports to find out. And the funny thing you say about that is because just yesterday, I have an ad currently running about pulling your credit report, because people don't realize that there are things on your credit report. It may not even be yours. I had on my credit report one time that somebody had got an apartment in my name somewhere in Bustleton Avenue, and I have never lived in Bustleton Avenue in an apartment.
And that's something that's huge. I'm glad you mentioned that. I pulled my report this summer, and there was stuff on there. Somebody must have hacked into my credit, and they were trying to get kitchen cabinets, and then it was something where they were inquiring about. It was different, 2 or 3 different things for residential renovations,
okay,
which was weird. And that's one of the things I'm working on, you know, trying to figure out who is this person. That's illegal, number one.
Yes.
But you know, you get people to get into your credit, and they're doing things on your credit report, and you may not even know about it because you're, you know, if you don't regularly keep up with it, which I didn't always do. I think I pulled it a few years ago, but this was the first time. After I said, it's COVID, I have some time to do some constructive things, let me pull my credit. And I pulled it, and I was like, who in the world is doing this to me? I never thought it would have happened to me.
You should pull your credit every 90 days.
Every night. That's a good, see, these are tips. What I want to do also, I have to go because I have another meeting, but I want to get some tips from you too. So man, I need to talk to you offline about getting some tips that you can put in my group, and it'll benefit you as well. But I really appreciate, this was a impromptu, but I really appreciate you being on here, and I look forward to talking to you again, Vernetta.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, thank you.
All right.
And
you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.